I'm the host of Talking with Famous People, the internet's only YouTube channel. And I'm coming to you today from my vehicle. Thank you. You have a nice day too. And you know what? I'm not sure there's going to be any audio on this. I have no way of testing that either. So I just have to wait for somebody to come on and tell me, nope, there's no audio. Or I probably should have turned off the Bluetooth before attempting this, but I didn't. So I think there's nothing really to do about that per se. Is there any audio? Let me see what that says. Does it say I can or I can't hear you? Let's find out. Where are my glasses? Oh, of course I've lost them. Where they are. Let's see what it says. I can hear you. Okay, well, good. That's wonderful news, everybody. Wonderful, wonderful news. I am driving home right now in my brand new car. Formerly Delilah's. It's a hand-me-down car, but it's exciting for me. Very exciting. Because, you know, the car ordeal, I'm not quite home yet. I don't want to count my chickens before they're all the way hatched, but the car ordeal would seem to be finally, at long last, at an end. This is a surprisingly nicer car than I thought it was going to be. It's got Bluetooth. I was able to listen to the Super Bowl game all the way back from LA, all the way from Los Angeles to the casino. So that was pretty cool. It was a real time killer. And while it certainly wasn't a close game, it was close enough for long enough that I never had any good reason to turn it off. It also made me reflect on the strange and not really at all dying art of describing things as they happen. Because, you know, I was listening to the radio broadcast. I was able to stream it, so it's not like I had to go switch from radio station to radio station. For Kevin Harlan, the announcer, he did just a fantastic job of describing what was happening. I could picture it every play. Kurt Warner was the other broadcaster, the color commentator. He was meh. I mean, he wasn't annoying at all. he didn't really say a whole lot. Or you'd forget he was there, and then all of a sudden he'd pipe in. I was generally pretty impressed with Tom Brady's performance as a color commentator this season, but he's no Troy Aikman. Troy Aikman does a great job with the color commentating. So, today was a pretty interesting day. You know, Cameron and I did the long drive down to Los Angeles, and we chatted a little bit. We listened to music. You know, just going down to LA through Sierra Madre and Arcadia and stuff, it triggers a lot of emotional stuff for me because, you know, it links to a life that doesn't exist anymore for me. It's not like if I lived down there it would exist anymore. It really, I'm really glad we moved away from Los Angeles because there are so many associative triggers there, and when I lived there, I was continually bombarded with SI, unwanted SI stuff. And I felt that way going there today too. Seeing Delilah made me super emotional. I was kind of feeling a little blue today or something, I'm not sure. But I hit up Delilah for 10 milligrams of Adderall, which she gave me an extended release, so it's like the other 5 milligrams kind of kicked in about 7:30. Anyhow, I feel very much like emotionally regulated by it without it actually doing much of anything to me. I'm also very pleased by the 10 milligrams because it's going to let me ease into tomorrow's Adderall. Like, when you first get in your system, there's this kind of like lag between you taking it and it really starting to make you feel like it's supposed to make you feel. I think that's gonna be addressed in this particular bottle because I have had 10 milligrams today. So we'll see how the new girl here, that's this car, we'll see how the new girl does up here in the mountains. It's got brand new tires on it and the higher quality tires. It's got new brakes. It's had a couple of little repairs done and one repair not done. It's not to me that's really necessary apparently. So we left that one unfinished. It's got new formats in it that Cameron ordered and put in. They're fully registered. I put the 2026 tags on it today. And what else do I have to tell you about it? Well, Cameron today put on the Happiness is Mariposa license plate go around thing. So we got that thing on the car. And I like the brights. They're nice and bright. It's kind of important up here having good brights, because as you can see, we're driving on a lonely mountain road with no lights. Delilah was having people over today for the Super Bowl. I hope she had a good time. Hope everybody there had a good time. I'll turn down the brights because there's somebody in front of me. That's called being polite, okay? You might say, but Eric, what could be more impolite than you not engaging with the chat? Well, friends, you know, be more impolite than me not engaging with the chat? Me crashing because I was trying to read my phone. So, maybe you should stop being so selfish. I was thinking earlier, and then it's like shortly after I started thinking about that, I was like, well, I guess that first 5 milligrams of Adderall is starting to kick in a little bit. I was thinking about the different variables in simulation theory. Like, if your body exists somewhere, then it's simulated, presumably, into your head somehow, and but your body is, you still have a physical body. There's the other possibility being that you yourself are simulated, and so then you don't have any body. You're part of a simulation that needs you to experience self-aware consciousness for some reason, and thus there is no physical reality for you. Then there's the variable of like player, non-player. In one understanding of simulations, everybody's either simulated or everybody's not simulated. And another version, some people are simulated and some people are not simulated. So along that spectrum, you can think of on the one end of it being a world where you're simulated and everybody else is an NPC, or on the other end of the spectrum where all the people are player characters and only things other than people are simulated. I mean, it would still be simulated. In other words, you'd be real people. Presumably in that model, you'd have to have, well, not necessarily, but presumably in that model, you'd have to have a body. But in theory, you could have a simulation that makes a distinction within the simulation between simulated players and simulated NPCs. In other words, if they didn't want to direct the computing resources to having everybody be fully conscious, but did want to devote the resources to simulating some consciousnesses at maximum capacity, then you could imagine a world where everything's fully simulated. In other words, there's the entire universe, world, whatever is on somebody's computer running as a simulation, but still have a differentiation between player and non-player characters. The other thing I was thinking about regarding simulation is one of the objections to it is that to simulate the entire world and the universe as we experience it in its detail and so forth as we experience it, that would require an unimaginable amount of computing power. And some people say that, well, the answer to that is if it's like a simulation on a computer that we're familiar with, they're never, it's like, let's say there's a RPG game, and there's a simulated tavern inside of the game. Well, they don't simulate the inside of the tavern until you actually go in there, right? Like, until you go in there, then it's not using any computing power what's going on inside the tavern. It just appears like it has been going on once you walk inside of it, right? So some people argue the response to the computing power issue is that it's just it's not trying to simulate the whole universe at all times. It's only simulating those parts observed by qualified observers under certain circumstances, and only insofar as it needs to be simulated, that part, right? There's the other argument that then broaches the question of whether or not you have a body more significantly, which is, well, it's not simulated in some central place, right? It's mostly taking place on each individual person's computer, not in some central servers. But if that's the case, then you'd have to imagine that indeed each of the people for whom the world or universe is simulated actually does have a body someplace else. Because then you can imagine the next level of kind of decentralization of processing, which is to say, you might not need to simulate any big amount of things if your simulation is being put directly into somebody's brain, right? Because then you could presumably take advantage of the brain's natural capacity to dream and visualize, do all those other things, and that would take a substantial amount of your processing load away. Hello, now you're looking at me. You can't tell because I'm in the dark. Well, I hope you enjoyed my musings on simulation. Part of the reason why I wanted to stream now on the way home rather than when I got home was because there's some things I want to watch on TV when I get home. Well, I was thinking, but maybe I'm wrong about it because today's the 8th, and if I remember correctly, it's on the 10th. But I was thinking that Naked and Afraid came out today. But now that I'm thinking about it again, maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe it comes out on the 10th. It seems like Sunday night is when Naked and Afraid comes out, I guess. Regardless, there's also the Olympics that I'm interested in watching when I get home. And additionally, and lastly but not leastly, I want to watch the USC women's basketball game, which is saved, and I don't know the score to. Now, I did see on my phone accidentally earlier that USC men beat Penn State by 2 points, so that's good news. I don't need to watch that game accordingly. But I would like to watch the women's game. So that's why I'm streaming now rather than when I get home. Even though you might well complain, but Eric, when you stream now like this, chat and engage with us, how is that fun for us? Well, it's not fun for you. I'll admit that. being around here in circumstances like these is just pure suffering. But it's a little bit more fun when you get to see what the road looks like. It looks like this, it's a thing that you drive on. Hey now, look at the road. That was Look at the Road, sung to the tune of My Boyfriend's Back by Eric Strauss. Not My Boyfriend's Back. That's not by me. That's somebody else's song. Well, we're going through Triangle, little neighborhood that I just think of as Triangle, or the Triangle Market area. Triangle Park, that's what it's called. Triangle Park. It's not really a park, though. So Cameron once again proved himself an amazing friend and a wonderful person to have in my life as he saved the day for us. He's such a rock in the family, you know. So I've got about half a tank of gas. When I got the car, I had a quarter tank of gas. So got a little bit more than a half tank. Probably get home at half. That means it takes 3/4 of a tank of gas to get from LA to home. A little better than the Mini, which took, I mean, I don't know if it's the same size gas tank. The Mini would take more, you know, it would take a solid full tank of gas to get to LA and back. Or to get one direction, I mean. So this car has this feature where when you come to a complete stop, it temporarily like turns off. You may be familiar with that feature. And Cameron warned me that it might bug me, but it actually doesn't bug me at all. It doesn't bug me at all. I've noticed it do it on a couple of occasions, but there have been lots of other occasions where it doesn't do it. It seems to have some way of deciding whether to auto stop, it's called. Like at the drive-through, it didn't auto stop. Maybe it somehow knew I was at a drive-through at Carl's Jr.'s, but maybe you can like tell by the way you deal with braking or something. I tell you where it probably would bug is if you lived in a trafficy place like Los Angeles, and you were always having to come to stop in traffic, and then it would auto turn off. That would probably bug. But up here, there's going to be few opportunities for it to even attempt to do that, because it's kind of a stoplight thing, and we don't even have a single stoplight in the whole county. Anyway, I'm making really good time on the way back as well. It's currently 8:09. I left about a little after 3:30.